So I want to share a story with you. As many dragons know, right? I started and failed at 13 businesses, right? Before I having my first success. So one of those earlier businesses was like one of my friends recruited me into a network marketing company, and I was living in a condo with my mom, 1-bedroom apartment, and I would go up and down the condo, and I would print out, hey, do you want to buy these vitamin, and then slip under people's door. And then I got a call one day from a gentleman. He said, hey, I got your business card here. I live in the same building. Like, what do you do? Oh, I thought, I got a customer here. This is so great, right? I said, well, that's interesting. Why don't you come to my home and we'll talk? I said, okay, let's talk. So I went to his house and I was getting ready for my presentation and all this stuff, right? And after about maybe 5-10 minutes in the conversation, he flipped the table and said, you're doing this network marketing thing. I mean, how much are you making? Well, just getting started. I wasn't making anything. But if you tell 2 people and you tell 2 other people and you tell 2 other people and you tell 2 people, you will make this much money, right? That was a horrible pitch. Anyway, so that's not a very good business. What you should do, you should think of how you can provide some sort of like a website and all that to like network marketers. What a brilliant idea. I'm a webmaster. I can help you build one of those sites. I said, yeah, that's good. How much is it going to cost? Oh, it's not going to be that much. I can build a little something for you. Maybe, $5,000, $10,000. I don't have to have $10,000. Well, it's programming, blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, I don't know. And then I went home to talk to my mom, trying to close her. Right? I said, because I don't have money. Right? I said, Mom, I think I've met this guy. Nate kind of live upstairs, and he's gonna do this, and we're gonna make money. Now, remember, at the time, my mom and dad got divorced already, and we had no money. Like all we have is whatever the savings we got and all that. Anyway, long story short, finally convinced my mom, borrowed the $8,000, gave it to this guy. His name's Bill. Gave it to Bill, and Bill would work on the website. And about a couple months later, I said, hey man, is it done? Is it ready? And he would show me a page and it would look decent. At the time, looks decent. I couldn't tell. And he said, yeah, it's almost done. But the programming, the code and everything else, and it turns out to be bigger than we thought, the different features that we need. We just need more money. I said, okay, well, how much you need? Well, I need another $3,000. Okay, I'll go back to my mom, it's almost done. Like, I just need, like, can you loan me another $3,000? Right? Mom was like, well, I don't have money. And then, anyway, long story short, back and forth. Like a couple of weeks later, go back to Bill. Bill say, hey, it's almost done, but I needed more money. Go back to my mom, and mom doesn't have money. Then mom would call my uncle, my aunt, my relatives, and started borrowing money. And then when that doesn't work, and we saw credit card and all those things. Long story short, this continues, and then after a while of that network marketing website, and then he would then pitch me another idea that I think is better than the network marketing website, but that's going to cost what? Some money, but it's going to make more money. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic. I'm like, oh yeah. Right? And now it's like a gambling mentality. I'm already so deep in the hole, right? Like, but this thing is, if I win this, I'm going to get all my money back. I'm going to pay mom back. Everything's going to be great. And I'll be successful, right? About a year into it or so-ish. And Bill said to me, you know what? We're just so close, man. We just need this finished thing and then we can get it done like in a few days. And man, we're getting up and running. I said, I'll go back to my mom. This time she was like, no, I don't have more money. We're now probably about 100, some $1,000 in the hole. Like all borrow money, right? And I dragged my mom. Literally put her in the car, drag her to the bank. I said, Mom, give me the money. It's a TD Canada Trust Bank in Surrey. I still remember at that tell, my mom was grabbing my hand and crying. I said, Dan, this is the last dollar that we have. I said, Mom, just give me the money. I would make it back and I would pay you back and everything would be fine. We're already 100-some thousand, we have to make it work. And then my mom, the loving mom that she is, took the final dollar we have from the bank. I went and gave it to Bill. And Bill said, I'm going to finish this thing. I said, man, this is everything I've got. I'm counting on you. A couple of days later, I went to see Bill. Strangely, the door of his condo wasn't closed. I opened the door. It's like a movie scene. All the furniture was gone. The house was empty. I've never seen him since then. He scared me out of everything I've got. There was never a website, there was never programming, there was nothing. It was just now I know, a mock-up. That's all it was, from beginning to the end. And I got home and I was crying, my mom was crying, and I was so guilty. How could I be so stupid? Why wouldn't I know? Now I lost all my mom's money. Now, like my mom, we have no income. I'm a kid. Like, what the hell am I gonna do, right? And I was beating myself up mentally for a couple of days. And I said, no, I dug myself in a hole. I have to get back out. I am going to do everything I could to figure out business, especially online marketing, because that's where I got scammed. I'm gonna learn everything I could about like online, how this works. And I was a machine. I was reading literally like 2-3 books a day. I would go to the library, I was using internet, I was a machine. I was learning, because in my mind that planted a seed, right? Not knowing means my family gets hurt. From then on, it planted a seed in my mind that I have to learn. And also another thing I learned is I never want to be in a partnership again. Because look, what partnership got you? If you were me, you would see, how would you feel about partnership? You'd say, no way in hell I would partner with another person. A couple years later, as I was now doing copywriting and finally getting some traction, making some money, I met another partner. His name is Alex from Austria. Saw what I do online, and he said, hey, I am a traffic tracking expert. I said, at the time I was focused on copywriting, website conversion, and that's what I was focusing on in my early 20s. And he said, we could partner up. I said, okay. Again, see what doesn't know. How would that work? Well, why don't you do the thing, and I'll be a 30% partner, you'll be 70% partner. And I said, okay, sounds good. I do my thing, and we seem to get along, and nice to work with somebody, although the first experience wasn't very good, my first partnership, but I think second one may be better. We formed a partnership together and started taking on clients, and I was doing 99% of the work. And after month after month after month after month, I said, hey, man, Alex, this is not working. I mean, you're taking 30%, I'm doing 99% of the work. I want to end this partnership. He said, you can't. I said, what do you mean? I said, look, I'm doing 99% of work. Like, this is not working. No. You're going to keep paying me the 30%. He said, if you don't, I have access to all your customers. I'm going to email them and tell them all these things. I'm going to basically, he was blackmailing me. And I'm like, stupid me. Why did I get into another partnership and look at this? And finally, I'm getting some traction, making some money. And this happens again? Are people all this bad? Like, what is this, right? And again, couldn't sleep for many nights. I was afraid to tell my mom, because my mom finally right? I didn't want to tell my mom. I finally said, Alex, no. I said, I'm not paying you. And then he said, I'm going to take your customer base. I'm going to email every single one of them and telling them like all the shit. I'm going to just basically destroy your business. I said, go ahead. I'm going to start something new. I'll burn the list. I'll do whatever. But you said, you're not going to blackmail me. And he did. He did. He took the list, emailed my people and all this stuff, what a horrible person I am and how I'm like taking advantage of him as a business partner. They're very good at flipping these stories. We ended that partnership. So here's a question. If you were Sifu, it's like 2 bad marriages, right? Like 2 partnerships in a row. What would you think of having a partner? No way in hell I'm going to do this again, right? And then after that partnership, for many years, I had no partner, just me. For many, many years, then just me. Until then I met my 3rd partner. So then I was doing a 2-day workshop like this. Probably it was for 100 somewhat business owners on internet marketing. And after the event, a couple came up to me and approached me. Her name is Carla and the husband's name is Reed. And Carla approached me and said, hey, Dan, I love what you teach in 2 days and everything you're teaching is great. I have a little thing that I sell, right? It's like these little beads. And I think we can use these strategies and market online. And she showed me these beads. Says, well, how much are these things? Well, it's like, $50, $80 a bead. I'm like, who the hell buys this crap? In my mind, right? I said, who buys this crap? And she said, no, like there's a market for this. Look, I'm a guy. I don't understand jewelry. You gotta see this. I said, okay, fine. And it's just out of politeness, right? She had a store back in Langley back then. And I visited her store. It was on a Sunday. And I still remember, it's a two-floor furniture gallery, 8,000 square feet, furniture everywhere. And then she has a little corner about this big, right? And then she said, this whole furniture gallery generates about $1 million a year, but this little corner, this glass shelf, selling these little beads, generates $1 million on its own. So $2 million total with the store. And I saw all these like ladies and housewives and all like crowding this thing. I can't even see what it is. Right? It's like, well, this is so popular. What is this thing? And she's like, Dan, I have the distribution rights. I can sell in this store, but I also have distribution right for online. There are only 2 people in the whole Canada that can sell these little things online, right? I said, okay, math, right? $1 million here in like Langley, small little city, entire Canada. I mean, it has to do at least $1 million, right? Can you see that math? Right? In my mind, was turning at least it would do $1 million. Form another partnership, 50-50. And now at that time, I have all the skills. I know how to run ads and SEO, website. I built everything. We got it launched. Well, it turns out that brand was called Pandora. And then Pandora now is one of the biggest jewelry companies in the world, right? Public company. So at the time, we was selling Pandora, and within 3 months, we launched the website. Our online sales exceeded the store sales, 3 months. It was like that, right? It was so successful. We won the first ever Canada Post Online Retailer of the Year Award. And that was one of the most successful, one of the proudest partnerships I've ever had. Now, for a number of years, until Pandora, because we were buying so much inventory from Pandora, you can imagine, right? We're doing so much volume. We had the headquarters of Pandora was looking at, who are these guys? What's this little store in Langley? Why are they buying more inventory than our flagship? It makes no sense. Like they were like, huh? In Christmas, you guys buy how much inventory? They can't understand it. Like it doesn't even make sense, right? And then what they didn't recognize it, we sent to Canada. All the little like interior BC, Calgary, all little cities, right? When they don't have a Pandora store, every single one of those online charms bought through us. So there was a period of 4 or 5 years, every single online Pandora orders was through us. And Pandora is like, no. Then the corporate, oh, these guys, we granted them the online rights. Oh, no. We're going to take it back. It's too much money, right? So then Pandora, like any big corporations, took back the rights. So from that partnership, and I learned, and it changed the way I view partnerships. Like from the first 2 partnerships that was very bad, and then the third partnership that's it changes my life, right? Like, whoa, suddenly I have e-com and all this stuff, and I learned a lot through that process. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Because let me ask you this. If I still hold on to the belief that partnership is bad, would I have been able to get involved or participate in the Pandora venture? No, right? I would not allow myself, right? I will not be open enough to do that. Yes, right? I will not, because I was hurt too deeply by those first 2 partners.